Hello, my name is Emiliano. I'm a medical student working with the Wisconsin Voices for Recovery to bring you Saturday Night Chat. Saturday Night Chat is a monthly chat that creates space for people to share their recovery journey and to show people in and seeking recovery that they are not alone and that recovery is possible. Today, we're going to be talking to Kimberly. So, Kimberly, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Kimberly. I am a recovering opiate addict and I've been clean for a year. My addiction lasted for 5 years and I'm just looking forward to, sharing a little bit about my experience.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
I didn't really notice a tendency towards addiction earlier in my life. I did have some mental health issues, depression, anxiety. Um, I had a period of time where my anxiety was so bad. I was having panic attacks all the time and um, really not addressing my mental health. And so it was very much deteriorating. During that time, I experienced, a lot of hardships, like deaths of family members, just like really big life events. So it's kind of like a perfect storm of issues happening. Um, I was in massage school, so I'm a massage therapist. But during massage school, I had an injury. I tore my labrum in my shoulder. Um, so initially, I got like a steroid injection and was dealing with like some pain that was still kind of lingering, migraines, all this kind of stuff, and was starting to get prescriptions for pain medication. At first, I would use it very rarely. I was actually very like apprehensive and nervous about taking it, so I just really wasn't interested. I'd take it once in a while. But the more it was available to me, the prescription just kind of like kept going. The more I would kind of like the feeling it gave me, especially having poor self-care, poor mental health. I was just in a really vulnerable situation to want to numb myself, and um, no other substance had really provided me that relief. I didn't really like to drink. Fortunately, I wasn't around any other types of drugs. So my whole addiction was prescription based. My doctor very much overprescribed me. At one point, I was getting, 60 hydrocodone a month, and that was on a refill basis, and I would just be able to continue receiving that. Um, and it really just like was snowballed. And I would take my prescription early. I would run out. It was very evident if you look back in my messages to my doctor. It was very evident that my addiction was like raging,
Hmm.
and there really wasn't any like red flags, I guess, for my family. I guess I was maybe good at doing it in secret and not wasn't really affecting my life at first. And then just over time it became like the only thing that mattered really in life. So yeah, I just realized I had a problem when, I started, lying and hurting people I loved, and yeah, it was a really hard time.
Yeah, it sounds like a really tough situation. How did you realize specifically that you needed help or treatment?
Um, well, I I was married at the time, so my marriage fell apart. That was like a big sign, like something's not working.
Hmm.
So that was a big one. I went through a divorce, and then my addiction I just couldn't stop. Like I tried so many times. There was just like thousands of times I'd say like this is the last time. Like today, I'm starting today, and in 5 days would go by, 2 days would go by. I would continually not be able to get out of the cycle of use. So it just became obvious that I could not do it by myself. And I think that's the case for most everybody. I have heard stories of people cutting cold turkey and stopping without treatment, but it's rare. I mean, you really do need the support. And um, I didn't understand much about addiction. I have some addiction in my family, but I had never really been educated on it or saw firsthand what it was like. So it was like kind of a first experience. I didn't know what to expect or like how to get clean. Um, so yeah, I just kind of made a choice. Like I'm gonna go to treatment, and took me a while to get in. There's like wait lists, and unfortunately, it's not something you can just show up and get treated. Like I didn't have insurance at the time. The cheapest one that I could find was $10,000 for a month, and I had to borrow money from family, and I just had to make it work. So like I made the choice, and then like within 3 months, I was thankfully, and I did an inpatient treatment for 30 days.
Okay. I'm really glad that you were able to get treatment and find help. Um, I could imagine that would be like a really overwhelming situation to find yourself in.
Yeah.
How did you first reach out for help?
I mean, I did kind of admit to my family. The first thing for me really was um, just putting it out there. I started kind of sharing with people. A lot of people were surprised, but a lot of people weren't surprised. They were like, "Oh, we could kind of tell something was going on." But really, just like being open, even though it was so embarrassing and so like, just it's just so hard to admit that you're doing
Hmm.
something like that. So I just knew that in order to stop, people had to know what was happening so that, there could be, people would look for the red flags, or people would check in on me, or, they'd see the signs if I started using. And it was just like, the more people I tell, the more people I involve, um, I'll just be safer. I'll be able to, you know, hopefully get to a point where I can stop. So really, it was just like telling people I loved what was happening, and then getting into treatment. And yeah, it was a very big wake up call, having to go away for 30 days and not have my cell phone and not be able to see anybody. Um, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, and um, was given a lot of education and resources and therapy. And yeah, I just feel very fortunate. I know it's not always the case for everyone that that's an option, but it definitely, saved my life for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it. How did people first respond when you were asking for help?
I mean, my situation's probably unique. I wasn't using with my friends. Um I was like a closet addict. I didn't No one knew about it, and the people in my life didn't really have addiction problems. So I mean, it's not always the case, but for me, people were very responsive and supportive, and just like, what can we do? We'll do anything we can to help you. And I got some financial help from people to go to treatment, and just like a lot of people praying for me and checking in on me. So like it was a good response, but I know that that's really not the case for everyone. Sometimes people are in situations where they're estranged from their family and their friends, and they're alone, um, and that's when you really just need to go to treatment and get to be around professionals and people that will at least give you the guidance, to put you in the right direction.
Right. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you had those people around you to be supportive like that. Um, yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, I am
What
grateful.
good. I'm glad to hear that. Um, what's what's a big takeaway that you've come to since going to recovery and treatment?
Well, I feel like there is like like a pre-Kim and like a post-Kim. Like I feel like I was a different person before my addiction, and I'm actually very thankful that I went through this. I feel like my addiction forced me to address, like childhood trauma and mental health issues and, issues with my self-care, my self-love, like, things I had just not been looking at for a long time. Um, so the biggest takeaway is just like seeing myself in a different light, and then also just the compassion that I feel for other people now. It's like I understand that addiction is a disease and it's not a choice. You just wake up one day and, think you just want to take a drug and like ruin your life. I mean, it's just like
Hmm.
it's one decision after another decision after another, and it just really gets out of hand very quickly. And so I just have like a deeper compassion and understanding for people. Um, that's the main thing. It's just like no one is immune to this. Like, I might have one time thought like, oh, I in my life or my situation, like that would never happen to me. Or, you know, you just have this preconceived notion of like what an addict is or what, someone with mental health issue is. And until you experience it, you can kind of be a little judgmental and
Hmm.
um, closed off to people. So it's like really it just made me feel more understanding, compassionate, and appreciate what other people are suffering with. And um, I'm very grateful for that. I really want to make a difference in people's lives and I want to help people. And I feel like this has given me that opportunity. It's kind of like stripped away all my preconceived judgments and notions of other people. And yeah, I don't know. It's just completely changed me.
Hmm. Yeah, I believe it. What are some other misconceptions or stigma that you see portrayed incorrectly around people with addiction?
I think the biggest thing is like, um, a lot of times when you're in active addiction, you're, not spending time with your family, not spending time with your kids, not showing up for work, not, I mean, just everything is coming second to your drug. And it's, you seem very selfish. I mean, and you are, but at the same time, it's hard to explain. I think the best way I can describe it, and this is something I learned in treatment and through, so I participate in MAT, which is medication assisted treatment. So I've been on suboxone for a year, and that's really helped me stay clean. Um, the longer that you abuse drugs, the more your dopamine levels shoot up, and they go past the stress threshold where when you're in the early stages of recovery, like nothing makes you feel good. Like things that used to make you happy don't make you happy. And so it's a very like sensitive time. Um, so I think people think addicts can just stop or like, well, just quit doing it. Or, like it shouldn't take that long to stop using, or like why do people keep relapsing, or it's just like it's not a choice. Like our brains are damaged and we have trauma and pain that is unresolved. And until we have long periods of sobriety, which require, maybe medication, maybe treatment, maybe therapy, but like it takes time to get to a place where you can actually be sober and want to continue being sober. And it's different for everyone, but it's definitely not something that just happens in like 30 days of treatment and then you're cured. Like, so I think the biggest stigma is like that it's a choice and that we choose to continue using, which is from the outside maybe what it looks like, but it's just this desperation for some semblance of, just, I mean, for me, it was like I had so much pain and so much trauma, like I just couldn't. it was either that or like I didn't want to be here anymore. Like I didn't want to be alive. So I either numbed myself so that I could function, or, what's the alternative? So I just think healing and long-term sobriety, um, they take time to get there, and not everyone is going to be ready after their first rehab or their second or their third. It's just, you know, you just have to address the trauma and the pain. And so it does require like compassion, patience, definitely help with, with a professional. So whether it's like treatment for your depression or treatment for um, your addiction, like through MAT, like there's so many things that can just help get you past those points in the beginning that are easy for you to fall backwards. So just being patient, I think, and giving people the time that they need to heal.
Yeah. And giving a little bit more perspective and showing empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, what does your medication assisted treatment look like since recovery?
Well, I'm actually really excited because after the last year, I didn't know how long I would be on it. Of course, in the beginning, I'm like, oh, it'll just be like 6 months or just a little bit of time. But my doctor was like, well, we'll see how things go. And like your brain, you use for 5 years, your brain needs some time to heal. Um, so I am now starting to taper off. Um, I initially kind of built myself up to, I take 2 tabs per day, so it's 16 milligrams. It's not the highest dose, but it's high. It's up there. Um, but I'm getting to a point now where I'm actually like, I'm just ready to be done. I actually don't even want to take it anymore. Like I'm just ready to like not be on any prescription medication, to be honest. So it's a good feeling. I know that I'm ready. And I think that's really key, is finding a clinic and a doctor that like is educated on this, and that, gives you all the information up front, and make sure you understand what the drug is and how it helps you. And one of the main things is um, in early MAT recovery, I did have slips. I did abuse again, but the key was is that I didn't feel anything. It blocks your receptors from giving you that high.
Hmm.
So because I felt nothing, it was like, okay, I can get back on track. Like it happened. I feel really crappy about it, and I'm gonna like be upset for a few weeks, but like,
So I think you cut out for just a minute, but you were talking about
sure.
early treatment with medication.
Yeah. So initially I didn't really see, how should I say it? I may have had preconceived judgments about people who use medication like this. I think it's very common to see mat um, addicts as like not completely sober. I think that's kind of a stigma or like a feeling some people have. But until I actually realized how it could help me, and got the information necessary to understand like why I could benefit from it, and then actually was taking it, um, I realized how important it really is, especially for opiate addicts, because of the receptors that it blocks. And it does, like I said, give you the chance to bounce back if you have a slip, which I did, and firsthand it showed me. Um, it gave me the opportunity to just come back to reality, and ask the question, like, am I going to continue living this life, or am I going to want to keep fighting to be sober? So I am very grateful for it. And now I'm at a point where I'm ready to be off of it, and I feel like it was just like a gift. Like I just really needed this time to. I've been in therapy. I go to meetings. I have a good sobriety community, and so like all of those pieces combined are what has gotten me to where I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like that medication treatment has giving you room to just practice, um, like resetting your brain and resetting your habits, and allowed you to make mistakes, which happens. But the
Mhm.
mistakes you can come back from, and with the support of everyone else and your team and your community, it sounds like you're in a really good place now.
I am. Yeah, it feels weird saying that. Um, I think sometimes when you're in active addiction, you think like it's never, I keep getting emotional here. Like you think it's never going to get better.
Yeah, that's got to
So
feel
yeah,
good.
being happy is like a really good feeling.
Yeah, I'm sure. It sounds like you've done a lot of work to deserve feeling happy.
Yeah, we definitely all deserve it.
Absolutely. So what does your life look like now?
Well, I just completed a class for peer support specialist. So that's a role where you can actively work in the community with addicts and um, mental health sufferers, and just kind of point them in the right direction, be part of their support team, give them guidance, resources, just like a safe place to kind of figure out how they can navigate their journey. So I'm really excited to give back in that way. I think that's another way that people can continue being sober is working with other addicts. Being like a driver for people to go to meetings or just having other people like rely on you in some way. Um, just as another motivation to stay clean and to keep fighting for it and being involved as much as possible. It's really just helped me quite a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna be hopefully doing that soon. And then like my dream, like my 10-year plan is to have my own recovery center um, in the southern Wisconsin area where people can come for addiction and mental health issues. And um, I see a lot of holes in the system. I see a lot of things that aren't working for people. Um, and I'm not saying I have the answers, but I'm saying I would like to fill some of those holes and maybe offer a different approach to treatment. And, I'm just hoping that there's more people like me that want to have good, healthy, positive recovery options for people who are suffering with addiction because it's a huge problem. And, with the pandemic and everything that's going on, it definitely hasn't improved. It's going to always be an issue. And I think if we, just put more attention on it and stay involved and educate people on what addiction is and how you can help the people that you love that suffer from it, I think it's just going to get better. And, hopefully more people can recover and stay here and, get their family and their life back because that is the goal. Everyone just wants to, you know, be loved and have their family with them and be good for people.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's just gonna take a lot of support and education, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing goal. We always need more resources, so that will definitely be welcomed. And I really hope that happens because that sounds like a great goal. Do you
Yeah, I
have
do
any
too.
other? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I just agreeing with you. I think it's a great
Okay.
goal. It's definitely
Yeah,
something that keeps me going.
good, good. I'm super glad to hear that. Do you have any other advice for anyone else out there struggling with addiction, or maybe knows someone or family?
Yeah, I would say if it's personal, if it's something that you're struggling with, I think the biggest thing is just to find a way to let go of the negative parts of you that cling on to the trauma and the pain. And if you have people in your life that aren't there for you, people that are hurting you, um, maybe just bringing the attention back to yourself and finding ways that you can be happy, find ways that you can love who you are, because you can't always rely on the people in your life, and not everybody has that support. So in little ways, just believing that you deserve love and you deserve to be happy and that you're worthy and you don't need anyone's validation or um, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you don't need anyone else to feel that way, although it's nice to
Mhm.
have. I think step one is just finding a way to love who you are, and then
Mhm.
you will find ways to fight for, the life that you want. If it's somebody in your family, I would just say, you know, just love them and give them compassion and support. And, um, they're not always going to be ready, but you just gotta, you just gotta keep fighting for them. The more that you show up and that you tell them that you're there and that you love them no matter what, they will be ready at some point. And um, it's really hard. I think it's one of the hardest things is to be a family member of an addict. I put my mom through, man, just horrible things, horrible, horrible things. And we're on the other side of that now, and we are able to
Mhm.
heal that pain. But it's definitely really, really hard seeing someone go through that. You just have to continue loving them and fighting for them because they need it.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you've gotten to where you are in your journey and that you're in such a good spot and you have such good aspirations to the future. So it's all very exciting. And I'm so glad that you took the time to talk to me. So thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
it.
thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. And it just feels good to be at a place where I can, like, I'm just pinching myself, like, actually talking about my own recovery
Yeah.
and being in a good place is quite
Yeah.
amazing. So,
Yeah. That's great. That's so good. Do you have any other thoughts that you would like to share?
no,
Closing
no, I'm,
remarks?
I'm, I'm just happy to be here and I appreciate the
Okay.
time to
Of
share what I have.
course. Good. I'm so glad you can make it. Thank you so much. I wish you the best.
Thank you. I wish you the best too.